Hey everyone, I'm Ryan. Welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna reiterate on something I talked about a little bit earlier. Earlier in my night, previous video, who knows when these will come out. I'm horrendous at this, so I want to talk about the Atlantis thing a little bit. So I found that extremely interesting that Graham Hancock says that Plato mentions that Atlantis considered itself the greatest, and basically the universe came around and said, no, you're not. You've gotten complacent. You've gotten, horribly. You're just boasting about yourself, basically. And then he went on to describe how if a cataclysmic event were to happen to us as humans, say tomorrow, the people of this world who would survive, and he's 100% correct, the people of the world who would survive mostly would be the people in probably like third world countries, parts of Africa, probably parts of South America, I'm sure parts of Asia, that are already like a hunter-gatherer society. They are already, as long as the cataclysmic event doesn't wipe their country, scrub it from the earth, but those people probably would survive because that's how they live day to day. That's how they survive, is every day they're just hunting for food and collecting their food. So if something, say like America, or say the electrical grid went down hard, and most countries right now in the world are relying on the electricity for everything we do, production of everything. A huge number of people would perish from that, let's be honest. But most hunter-gatherer tribes, they might not even notice. There's people living up in Alaska. I'm sure there's people living all over the world, but what I'm saying is the people who live primitively would probably be the only ones who would survive. So that's kind of what he mentions, that, they would then, 10,000 years from now, possibly they would be telling stories of a grand civilization that existed on this planet at one time, that had the capability of flying to the moon and back. They had the capability of talking to each other across the planet at any time. But then, they assumed they were the best, and the gods destroyed them for their greed and that could be us. That could be those of us reliant on the technology. There's no saying that Atlantis, I'm making quotes, I don't think you can see them. There's no saying though that Atlantis wasn't advanced as we are. We don't know if what guys like Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson and John Anthony West and some of these other guys are saying that civilizations started potentially 12,000 or more years ago. Potentially there was human civilizations, advanced civilizations, before the Ice Age of 12,000 years ago. There's no saying they weren't as advanced as we are with similar technology to us. We don't know. It's like Joe Rogan talks about that. You see a car from the 1960s sitting out in some dude's field. It's already got rust holes and stuff all over in it if it hasn't been being taken care of. It's starting to be consumed by the earth again after only, 60 years. So you think that'll be there in 500 years? 1,000 years? Okay, now we're talking over 10,000 years ago. Even if a civilization had the almost identical technology to what we have now, or potentially even more advanced, but was still made out of things like the electronics we use, it would be wiped away from this earth. We wouldn't even know it existed. There's no way we would find it. Maybe not all of it. Maybe there are some capsules somewhere. Who knows? The rumor, Atlantis was swallowed by the water. That's another thing that's Randall Carlson's big thing. He's talking about this flood event, the Younger Dryas, the cataclysmic event that happened to this planet, and he is convinced he's got it right. He's got the information right. And I, as a simpleton, am very inclined to believe him. And his ideas and Graham Hancock's ideas and John Anthony West's ideas, they all, even coming from different perspectives, they're all lining up to say the same thing. That there were advanced civilizations long ago. And, it's very interesting to me, too, that they talk about we shouldn't assume that all mythological stories are just that, mythological. Maybe those are just memories from a time long, long ago. But they are the memories being passed to us through oral traditions. Therefore, they changed over time. That's another reason you shouldn't take things like the Bible or other things 100% literally, because they are just stories passed on. However, in almost every single ancient text that we have, whether it's the Bible, whether it's the Quran, whether it's any of these other types of things, there's always a story about flooding, a cataclysmic flooding that affected all of humanity. And Randall Carlson thinks he's got the answer, that during the Younger Dryas, a comet, asteroid, you'd have to listen to his lingo on exactly it. I'm paraphrasing. But basically, there was huge ice sheets, on Canada and North America, these huge 2-mile thick sheets of ice that were struck by an asteroid or a meteor, instantaneously vaporizing this ice and turning it into water. And just this humongous flood of water rushing across the North America and Canada and to these different places, and cutting huge things like the Grand Canyon or where the Columbia River runs or the Snake River, just carving away the earth. But at the same time, all that water rushed to the oceans, and the ocean levels rose some 300 to 500 feet. Again, I'm paraphrasing. Please go look at his research and see. He has a vast amount of things. But that is insane. And it also makes a lot of sense. That's how would people describe that when they're telling stories, other than fire rained from the sky and floods ensued, and swallowed most of the earth. How would you explain that otherwise? I just don't know. Nobody knows. Unfortunately, we don't know. Maybe we might not ever know. I hope we do find out someday. Again, going off on tangents, you guys, I'm sorry. If anyone's stuck with me, thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you guys in the next one.